Hey guys, if this is your first time watching my channel, you are welcome. Please hit that subscribe button since you're already here. If you're a returning watcher, thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I just wanna let you in inside my thoughts, what I'm feeling. If life's a book, then my heart's a pen. I'm giving you a chance to read some me. Welcome to my So today I'm going to be talking about body image, something that I've struggled with all my life. Like, if there's one topic that's probably really dear to my heart, it's this one, just because it took me a very long time. I'm talking 21-year process. It took me a very long time to love myself and be happy with who I am and how I look. And I just kind of want to share more of my story, my story, my journey. And I'll drop a couple Bible verses to kind of guide you guys and as you learn about body image and what you want to improve on, what you want to learn about yourself. But for me, I was overweight all my life. Like, there was never a time where I wasn't overweight. And whew, okay, this is really hard for me. And for a long time, I didn't like my body and myself because a lot of my friends were slim or skinny, and I was just always the chubby odd one out. And there'd be my parents and also family friends that'd be like, "Oh, Seun, watch your tummy, watch your weight, you know, you want to be looking good like your friends, like your mates, you know, watch what you're eating, watch yourself." And I'm not going to talk today about whether those kind of comments were healthy or not, or whether those were productive comments, but I always knew I was bigger than other people. This just idea of like, I was constantly reminded, whether it's through friends or family members or people, that I didn't look good or like my weight was an issue. And it was an issue, but I think the issue was, rather than seeing myself as a work in progress, I kind of just shut down and said, I'm ugly. And that was a source of depression for me and like weighed a lot on how I felt about myself and how I thought I looked and how I valued myself and what I was willing to settle for or not settle for. And throughout high school, there were times I tried to lose weight, which was never, they were pretty short-lived, like a week. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go on a diet, and it was only like a week, and like that was it. It was probably because I wanted the attention of a guy. It wasn't really for myself, or was to make someone else happy. And throughout college, I think I felt it more than high school because you're surrounded by so much more people when you go to parties, when you're with friends, when you hang out, when you see people. Like, I couldn't help but feel like I was the only fat one, or I was the only one that like didn't have a slim stomach or something like that. And that literally bothered me, bothered me. And I felt like maybe it's because I'm fat, that's why I'm not attractive to people, or maybe it's because I look a certain way, and like I was just not happy. And this past summer, I had reached my highest weight. I was the heaviest I'd ever been, and like I just felt like I felt heavy, I looked heavy, like it was terrible. I just literally biking for 5 minutes took the life out of me, like literally. And I was tired of going to the mall and like not fitting into stuff, or seeing something that I really wanted to buy but it just wouldn't fit, or I just looked terrible in it. And I was tired of feeling like maybe it's because I'm fat, that's why I'm not getting attention of guys. Or I was tired of having to compensate for not loving my body in different ways. Like, one of the biggest reasons why I got into makeup was because I felt like if I can't change my body, I can at least change my face. I can like make myself look prettier, I can do my eyebrows, I can do something other than changing my body. And of course that was only like a band-aid to the solution. It's like a band-aid to a deep cut, which is not going to help anything. For a moment it made me feel good of like, okay girl, you can slay your wigs, you can do your eyebrows. But eventually like that weight issue still came back and still bothered me constantly. And I think Another thing that really made me more serious about losing weight this past summer was I was pre-diabetes. And diabetes runs in my family. My grandmother passed away from diabetes. And it is terrible, and that's something I don't want to go through. And that was, I think, one of the biggest things that really scared me, is the idea of like potentially having diabetes, because it's not fun. And those who have it, you know how serious it is. And I just didn't want that for myself. And the doctor was like, you need to start being more active. You need to do something. So a combination of all those stuff made me take losing weight so much more seriously than I ever taken in the past. And in July, I was working on campus for the summer, and like I was working with a friend, and he's like a gym freak. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start going to the gym with you all the time now. Like, that's what I need to do. And that summer, I lost a lot of weight. I lost about 20 pounds, if not more, in a very, very unhealthy way. Absolutely unhealthy, and I would not recommend it for anyone. And in retrospect, probably wasn't a good idea, but at the end of the day, it happened, and I lost the weight. So I'm like, a part of me is like, hey girl, at the end of the day, I still lost the weight. But a part of me is like, that wasn't the way I should have went about it. And basically, I would be going to the gym every single day for an hour, if not more, constantly trying to be active, and I wasn't eating. I would not eat anything. At most, I'd probably have like a piece of chicken, baked chicken, or maybe I'd have like some fruit or something. So like literally, I was burning about 700 to 800 calories a day, and I was only consuming about 200 calories, if not less, which was very unhealthy. And I kept telling myself, I'm fine, like I don't feel tired, I don't feel hungry, like I don't feel this kind of stuff. I completely cut carbohydrates, I cut everything out my diet. All I had was water and some baked chicken every now and then. And the weight dropped like this, like every week, like pounds were just dropping. And I felt good, and like I was taking progress pictures, and I was like, okay, the tummy's going down a little bit, because literally, let me tell you, at my heaviest, me and my dad were competing for pot bellies. That's how bad it was. I was competing with my dad for who had the bigger pot belly. And people don't see it too often, because like I try to package myself, try to make it seem like I don't. But like, let me tell y'all, I was this close to looking like my dad. No offense to my dad, but I was this close to looking like him, and that's not healthy or attractive or good for some of my stature. Like, I'm a pretty small person. I'm only like 5 feet. So like I felt like I wasn't meant to have all this extra weight on me. So I was just working really hard this summer, lost so much weight, and even with all the weight I lost, I was happy with the progress I had, but I still wasn't satisfied. I was like, I gotta lose more weight, and it got to the point where I like completely stopped eating like I wasn't eating, period. Not even the piece of chicken, because I was just like so thirsty to lose more weight. And at the end of the day, it wasn't a sustainable thing. And to this day, I've managed to maintain all the weight I lost, which I'm really proud of and happy for. But I don't recommend losing weight to anyone that way. And I was just so desperate to feel beautiful, look better, look like other people, that I was willing to not nourish my body. I was willing to be expending all this energy at the gym and doing so much, but not nourishing my body. And literally, that's not what God asked me to do. Like, the Bible doesn't say don't eat because you're trying to lose weight. The Bible doesn't say starve yourself. The Bible doesn't say go to the gym 24/7 because you're trying to lose weight. And I wasn't thinking about God's word. I wasn't thinking about God when I was trying to lose weight. I was just like, your girl need to be slim thick with a cute booty. So I'm going to do whatever. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And that's what I did. And at some point, there were friends who were starting to be concerned about me because they noticed I wasn't eating. They were concerned that like I would eventually get some kind of eating disorder. Like, even my boss was like really worried about me, saying that like, this isn't smart, like you need to start eating. I decided to see a nutritionist on campus, and eventually I was able to get back to a reasonable diet where I was eating, and I slowly incorporated carbohydrates back into my diet. Kind of allowing myself to enjoy food without feeling guilty. And for most of the quarter, I wasn't as consistent with the gym, and I didn't have the strict diet I was on in the summer, but I was able to I was able to not gain back the weight, which I think is a very good feat, because usually when you lose weight in a very unhealthy way, you tend to gain it back very fast. So I'm happy that I was able to maintain and find a healthier and more productive way of keeping the weight off. But I'm sharing this story to kind of talk about how I didn't love myself. Part of it was I actually needed to lose weight for health reasons. Another part of it was I just wasn't happy with how I looked, and I felt that I needed to do something to get the approval of others, or make others be like, oh wow, Sean, you have lost weight. Because when I come back to Boston, I didn't want people to be like, Sean, Sean, you need to watch your weight, or all your mates that wearing slim stuff. I wanted people to be like, okay, Sean, we see you lost weight and stuff like that, which has happened. But now I'm not relying on that for the source of motivation. I think I now, in my efforts to be more healthy and live a healthier lifestyle, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm doing it to ultimately serve out God's purpose. And I want to take us to Psalm 139, verse 13 to 14. I'm going to read it. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. And literally, I just came across this verse, and I was like, I needed to be telling myself that while I was losing weight. And I think the mistake a lot of us make when we're trying to change something about ourselves, or we don't love ourselves, is we forget that God did not make a mistake when he created you. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. And if you look at yourself in the mirror and you say you're ugly, or you say that you don't like how your nose look, or you don't like how your eyebrows look, or you don't like something, you're, in my opinion, essentially saying God made a mistake when he created you. And God is not a God of mistakes. He knows what he's doing when he made you. He said you were purposely going to have this hair, or he purposely said you're going to be bald, or he purposely said you're going to have dimples, or you're not going to have dimples, or you're going to have these kind of lips and you're not going to have this kind of lip, or you're going to have this kind of body stature and you're going to have this kind of body stature. And I think we need to remind ourselves that wherever stage we are with how we feel about ourselves, God created us, and God, you're not ugly in God's eyes. And I feel like media, culture, society makes us feel like there's a certain way to look to be called attractive, or there's a certain way your hair has to be, your eyebrows have to be, or your body has to be, and that puts a toll, especially on young people, because you feel the need to either do something or change something about yourself, when maybe you don't need a change. And that was something I truly needed to come to accept, that, listen, when God created your girl, he was like, you are the prettiest thing in the world. I made you. I personally made you. So it can't get any better than being personally, handcraftedly made. And the great thing about each person is we're all unique. Nobody looks the same except for identical twins. But nobody is the same person. And why would you want to conform and change yourself to look like someone else? You're your own person, and you're beautiful the way you were created, and that is a blessing to be different. Imagine if we were all the same. It'd be boring. If everyone looked the same, it'd be boring. So it's don't waste time or don't spend energy trying to change something about yourself when God has made you in a perfect way. And I say that in one light. I think if there's something about yourself that you don't quite like or you want to improve upon, that is perfectly fine. But I think the question you need to ask is making this change ultimately going to help me serve out my purpose in life? Is making this change going to help me glorify God? Is what I'm trying to do going to, at the end of the day, bring God the praise? And if the answer to that is yes, then by all means, please work on changing yourself. For me, I think, my body's a temple, and I take that meaning I need to be healthy. I want to stay away from diseases. I want to stay away from diabetes. I don't want to have high cholesterol. I don't want to have high blood pressure. I don't want to have all these health issues that come with potentially life-threatening diseases. And I told myself the best way to get there is to be healthy. Go to the gym, exercise, take care of your physical body. Now, to a certain extent, I'm not trying to look like a certain person or have a certain body, but I'm trying to get to a place where I'm healthy, where I feel like I can bike and not be tired after 5 minutes, where I can run for 10 minutes. Well, I can run for 10 minutes and be fine because, your girl's been in the gym, so I'm good at that now. But this idea of I don't want to feel tired when I take one step, and I don't want to feel I have the weight of the world on my shoulders because I'm so big or something like that. And at the end of the day, I want to be a doctor, and I feel like I can't tell people to take care of themselves. I can't tell people to be healthy if I don't look healthy, if I'm not healthy. And I definitely want to practice what I preach. So that's for me why I feel so compelled, and why I feel like it's important for me to lose weight and just be a healthier version of me. I think constantly reminding yourself at every stage you are at that you're beautiful is so important, even when you're going through these changes that you want to make. Like for me, one of the things I'm working on and I've been telling myself is, I personally am not where I want to be weight wise and body wise, but that's okay. God still loves me and I'm still beautiful, and when it's time I will get to the where I need to be, or that point where I want to be. But for right now, I'm happy with myself and I still love myself. I loved myself when I was 190. I love myself when I'm 160, and I'm going to love myself when I get to where it is I want to be. And I think those kind of affirmations are so important. You have to constantly remind yourself you are a queen, you're a king, you're made in God's image. You're not made out of mistake. You were never a mistake. God doesn't make mistakes. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. There's no one in the Bible who was created by mistake. And stop seeing yourself as a mistake. Stop seeing yourself as someone who isn't worthy of beauty. Stop seeing yourself as someone who isn't worthy of people's time. Stop seeing yourself as someone who isn't beautiful. Have confidence in yourself. And when you continue to practice and tell yourself you are wonderfully and fearfully made, you're going to believe and you're going to know that you are beautiful, and you're going to learn to accept who you are and what you look like and where you're at. And it's hard. I don't want you to think that like, oh, I'm just telling you this stuff like it's easy. It's hard. This is something that took 21 years in the making, y'all. Like, there were days I just sat in my room and cried. I kid you not, I literally prayed for God to take the belly fat away. I would pray and pray and pray and say, God, please let me wake up the next day skinny. Please let me wake up the next day with dimples. Please let me wake up the next day with a different kind of hair. Please let me, there's nothing under the sun I did not pray for in terms of changing my body. Lord, please let me have a big booty tomorrow. Like, everything, I was just praying and constantly unhappy with where I'm at. And like, this literally was probably still me a year ago, and I've learned to be happy with where I'm at. Be content, not complacent, and that's one of the biggest things that I've learned lately. And I find that's probably gonna be my motto for this year, of like, I'm content with how I look where I'm at, but I'm not gonna be complacent, because I know there's still more work to do on myself. Like, I still have weight to lose. I can be healthier. Like, as long as I can be healthier, I need to aim for that. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, I lost this kind of weight, so I'm good. Like, constantly trying to be a healthy version of me, being a better version of me. So that's that. I just want to remind you, you're beautiful, you're great, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. God doesn't make mistakes. Don't let other people's opinions of you sway how you feel about yourself. Don't let, because some boy said you're ugly, or somebody said you're not attractive, or some family friend commented about your weight, don't let that make you feel like you're ugly or you're less than. Like, the only opinion that matters is God. Your self-worth is not in the eyes of man. Your self-worth is in the eyes of God. And God has already told you you are beautiful. God has told you you are great. God has told you you are destined for something greater. So stop caring about what some hotep said about you, or what somebody said. Like, it doesn't matter. As long as you have confidence, you know that God has created you in his image, you are good. Like, remind yourself every day you look in the mirror, say, I am wonderfully and fearfully made. Like, this is not going to happen overnight, and I don't want you to think that you're automatically going to love yourself tomorrow if you don't already. Self-love is an ongoing journey, and you have to pray for strength. You have to constantly tell yourself affirmations. Surround yourself with people who accept you for who you are. Surround yourself with people who love the way you look. Surround yourself with people who make you feel good about you. Don't surround yourself with people who are constantly criticizing how you look, or your weight, or how you do your hair, or how your makeup looks. Like, don't surround yourself with negative Nancys. Surround yourself with positive Petersons. Like, that's what you need to do. Seriously. I hope this video was able to touch you, and I hope you guys were able to learn from my personal story. Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, or want to submit a testimony, or you have advice, or you wanted me to give you advice on something, please submit it to my AskFM in the comment section below, or in the description box below. And on the next video, I'll definitely address it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.